Good morning, guys. I'm gonna do video today cutting these 3 batches of soap. I showed them to you in my last video. They're the last 3 from my wholesale. And I got an email asking how I unmold from this particular soap mold. And to be honest, I still have problems unmolding from it sometimes. It depends on the batch of soap. Like this one of oatmeal milk and honey, it was a goat milk soap, and I'm assuming it went through some sort of gel because it's decently firm, and I did a water discount on it. I think I did about a 30% water discount on this particular one, so it's pretty firm. The one in the middle, skipjack, I think I did a 20%. I think I did a 10% water discount on this one, but the fragrance oil has a tendency to set up pretty quickly. So this one's actually more firm than the oatmeal milk and honey. And then the last batch here for Flirt, I can't remember if I did a water discounted off. I did. It was no more than 10%. And I poured it at a light trace because of the swirl that I wanted to get into it. So it's actually still sticky. So I have like pretty much 3 different consistencies here because of the amount of water that I use. So you'll kind of get to see how each one comes out, and then just I guess little tricks that you can do to get them out without damaging your soap. So let's start here. Now gelling your soaps can make the bar firmer, because pretty much from my experience it seems like the firmer the bar, the easier it comes out. Lori did a great video several times showing how she gets her soap out of this particular mold, but her recipe creates a firmer loaf than mine. Her bars, I don't know if she leaves them in the mold longer or if she if it's just that her recipe is so firm, but hers comes out pretty easy pretty much every time. She just pops hers out. If I were to pop my sides off of these loaves the way that she does, it would probably it would take the side off, like it would mess up the edging because my soaps tend to be a little sticky. I also don't always necessarily wait 24 hours before unmolding. I think, has it been 20? It hasn't quite been 24 hours on these. I made them yesterday morning around 11 or so. I think I finished up around 2. And so Flirt was the last one I did, so it's not quite, so I took a little bit off the edge there. It's not quite as firm as the other 2. When you do get a edge like that, you can always use like a knife. This is my favorite knife. It's very dull. It just has a straight edge here, completely smooth, and it's good for smoothing out edges. And also because this one's probably still stuck, usually what I'll do, I'll see if I get a chance to show it. We'll see. And so far this is coming off pretty easy. I probably will not cut these today. I'll just do the video in 2 parts. Well, not 2 parts, but I'll wait and then come back and add to this one. Because the other day I waited 3 days to cut. Not because I wanted to, it's because I was sick and couldn't. But I just like how much easier, how much nicer the firm bars slice. And the goal with this particular one, I found that in order to get the proper amount, I need to get 17 bars out of these loaves. So I can't have any end cuts, which means I can't damage the ends. And I'm not sure if this is ready because Flirt is still pretty sticky and I don't want to mess up the ends. I might wait. This doesn't seem like it's going to come off without damaging the soap, and I'm not sure that it is. I use a pair of pliers here to lift it off. It doesn't mess up my mold. I may put a few little groove marks on it, but nothing like too bad. Nothing that ruined it. Let's see if I can slide this off nicely and mess that end bar up just a little bit. So I'll take what came off and just smooth it back in. I poured Flirt at a very light trace. I mean, very light. If I hadn't already had these two loaves in the mold, I would not have been able to do that because it would have leaked right out. But I think that's why this one is still so soft, and it probably did not go through a gel. I don't make my soaps gel, I just don't prevent it anymore. So I kind of just let them do what they're going to do. Let's see. You could get this side out. And I usually cut this part out of my videos just because I don't want you guys to see me have to struggle with it. But if it's going to help someone else have an easier time with their mold, then I'll go ahead and show it. And this time I got it out, no problems. The key was just to go really slow and easy and not force it. So let's get... I'll try these two first. And yes, I guess some people would find this more trouble than it's worth. But to me, for the amount of soap that I make, one, the money that it saves in not having to buy freezer paper, that makes it worth it. And then two, I really like the sharp edges that I get from not having to use the freezer paper. I've seen some people like Cherie, man, she could get some sharp edges on her freezer paper. But that's not something I was able to achieve on every single batch, and I really wanted consistency on every bar of soap. So, okay, got that off. It should come right off now. So that's one loaf down. Okay, and I'm still gonna leave this. Oh, I just took a... And this is pretty firm, but I still think I'm going to wait a day or two to cut it just to see if it still gives me those really nice results from waiting to cut a firm bar. Now this is a tricky one. Okay, there you go. Very little damage there. And actually this came from the top, not the bottom, so that's good. Just stick that right back into that corner there. This soap is weird. This is the second time I soaped this particular fragrance oil, and it never cracks down the center. It always cracks down the side. I don't know why it does that. That's kind of weird. Now what I do sometimes get is, I don't know if it's from the sweating or what, but if it hasn't gelled, it'll stick to the, there we go. It'll stick to the silicone liner here. So that's the second one, damage free. I don't know about this one, let's see. There we go. Since this one is still so sticky, I don't want to get any fingerprints on it. I'll put on a pair of gloves. Let's see if that helps. There we go. Okay, so that worked out pretty good actually, considering how sticky this last one in particular was. You could go back in my old videos and see I used to have this sort of big square wooden mold, and I used to put these clear sort of clear pieces like this down the sides just to give me those straight edges, and I used to hold it up like this and take this knife, and while it was still held up vertical, I would just come down the sides like this, and it would create a little air pocket in between the liner and the loaf that would allow it to pop off. Or sometimes I'll have to go all the way down like this while it's being held up vertical like this. And that would help if it's sometimes like it gets really stubborn and it just will not come off. Even I think Achilles Bay did that to me when I tried to unmold it. Although it had been in the mold for about 2 days before I tried to unmold it, it still just wasn't trying to come up. I mean, this last piece just wasn't trying to come off. So I held it up like this and then took the knife and just went straight down the side, and that helped release it without causing any damage to the end. So the next time I have a loaf like that, I'll record it so you can see what I mean. But hopefully that was helpful to anyone that has this type of mold and has been struggling with it. And yeah, so if you have any more questions, guys, just let me know and I'll do my best to answer them for you. All right, have a great day. Bye-bye.